Dead men tell no tales, but their ships speak volumes. Welcome to the Cursed Compass, where we explore the darkest maritime mysteries. 250 feet below the surface of the South China Sea, the ocean floor is pitch black. Down here, the water is cold, the pressure is immense, and human tragedies are quietly frozen in time. In 1752, a merchant vessel named the Geldermalsen, sailing for the Dutch East India Company, sank in these waters, taking 80 men down with it to an unmarked grave. The ship left Canton, China, laden with goods destined for the European market. This map tracks the scale of that trade route, showing how the Geldermalsen carried a massive haul: 125 pure gold ingots and over 150,000 pieces of bespoke blue and white export porcelain. The Geldermalsen was a floating royal fortune. Within weeks of setting sail, it would become a forgotten mass grave. On the night of January 3rd, the heavily laden ship violently struck the coral of the Admiral Stellingwerf Reef. In complete darkness, the crew frantically tried to dislodge the heavy vessel from the jagged rocks. Then, the main mast and the rudder snapped off entirely. The ship was instantly paralyzed. Stripped of steering and heavily damaged, the hull began taking on water. The immense weight of the porcelain and gold destabilized the flooded cargo hold. Hours later, the Geldermalsen capsized. 80 crew members drowned in the dark, while 32 managed to escape on small wooden sloops. As the survivors drifted away towards Batavia, the surface waters calmed. The ocean immediately sealed the wreck, plunging the cargo into a perfect, undisturbed silence for the next 233 years. Fast forward to the 1980s. The wooden structure of the ship had mostly rotted away, but the cargo resting inside the wreckage was found in an unnaturally pristine state. This cross-section illustrates how the cargo survived. The Geldermalsen was carrying nearly 687,000 pounds of tea. When the ship sank, that tea swelled with seawater. It expanded and packed tightly around the ceramics, creating a physical barrier against the harsh ocean environment. This accidental tea cocoon successfully shielded the fragile blue and white glaze from 2 centuries of corrosive salt, shifting sand, and deep-sea currents. The preservation was so effective that the artifacts emerged from the silt appearing brand new. This physical perfection transformed a maritime grave into a target for high-value commercial salvage. In 1985, a commercial salvager named Michael Hatcher located the wreck. He used side-scan sonar to map the seafloor and proton magnetometers to detect the ship's metallic signatures. When Hatcher's dive team descended into the silt, they found a ghostly, perfectly preserved porcelain city waiting in the dark. Over the next 10 weeks, the crew executed a brutal salvage operation. Their goal was extracting profit, not preserving archaeological care. The site was violently torn apart to haul up the 150,000 pieces of porcelain and the 125 gold ingots. In the process, the remaining structural integrity of the shipwreck was completely destroyed. The salvage team stripped the site of its valuables, and in the process, pulverized the historical context of the wreck. When the extraction was finished, the Geldermalsen existed only as a list of inventory, rather than a record of human history. By 1986, the salvaged cargo had been shipped to Amsterdam. The looted ceramics were cleaned up, sanitized for the public, and given a romantic new brand name, the Nanking Cargo. Looking at this photograph from the auction preview, you can see the overwhelming volume and the pristine physical condition of the recovered plates. Christie's prepared the massive haul for eager buyers. The public developed an immediate obsession with owning a piece of recovered sunken treasure. That demand drove the final auction sales to a staggering $20 million. The highly publicized auction effectively laundered a deep-sea grave robbery into a glamorous, celebrated luxury event. As the auction unfolded, global heritage professionals and marine archaeologists watched in absolute fury. This chart highlights the modern curse of the Geldermalsen. For the sake of the gold and the porcelain, invaluable historical data, clues about 18th century shipbuilding techniques, and the personal artifacts of the crew was permanently erased. The outrage over the Geldermalsen helped spark a global movement to treat shipwrecks as heritage sites rather than open-air mines. It became the textbook example cited by proponents of the 2001 UNESCO Convention, which established the first international standards to protect underwater sites from commercial exploitation. Today, those beautiful, expensive Nanking porcelain plates sit proudly in private dining rooms and display cabinets around the world. But strip away the romance of the auction block, and they remain exactly what they were in 1752, the looted grave goods of 80 doomed sailors.